Welcome, Heather, to Real Estate by Relationship. I am so happy to have you here. You have become such a dear friend and frankly, mentor of mine. I know I say that about all my guests, but that's because I'm interviewing my favorite people. But welcome to the show. Tell all of our viewers and listeners how we met and how we've connected over the years.
Well, we met, gosh, how many years ago would that have been? Probably
At least
14.
10. Oh, maybe
14 years
Yeah.
ago. When I really first initially met you, I met you at a conference.
Yep.
We both go to a lot of conferences, and I think we're very like-minded, and we connected, and we've been masterminding and brainstorming ever since on a very regular basis. So same to you. You become a really dear friend of mine as well, and I absolutely love, connecting with you and getting golden nuggets always from Barbara.
Nope. Today is going to be all about golden nuggets from Heather. So let's get right into it. The reason I have you here with us today is part of working relationally, right? We're at the end of the day, we're still salespeople. And I think so many realtors don't want to admit that they are a salesperson, and we are in the sales business. So if that's shocking and breaking news to all of our listeners here today, you are a salesperson. I often joke that if someone would have told me I was going into the lead generation business back in 2003, I would have ran from real estate. I never would have done it. So, but I would put you in the top 3, if not top, realtor I know in the marketing world. And specifically in marketing relationally, right? You don't market in a sales or cold way. You don't door knock. Let's get that out of the way. You don't do a bunch of direct mail. You truly market directly to your contact list. So tell everyone kind of let's just start with what your philosophy is in marketing in general, especially relationally.
Well, aside from being a salesperson, I actually think we are marketers before we are sales, because if you don't market, you don't have sales. So that's always been my philosophy is number 1, marketing, number 2, sales, and the marketing leads to the sales. So early on, I worked in an office with another agent who was cold call, door knock, expired listings. He just pounded the phone all day. So I knew right away, and it's the same thing that you just said, if I have to do business this way, I am going to fail, and this is not going to work for me. So I had to shift right away and say, what is going to work for me? What's going to be the best business model for me? And it was 100% relationally. I have a background in social work, so I'm more of an advocate for people versus, going and door knocking. I don't like people knocking on my door, so I don't do that as well. So marketing right from the get-go was something that I felt like was a niche that I wanted to do, and do it relationally, different than an agent, sending you the sales graphs of what's going on. A lot of brokerages have just standard, templates that agents can send out. And I've always created my own and marketed to my demographic and to the people that I work with, and mainly marketing to them. And when I create my marketing, I think, what would I want to read? What would catch my eye? What would be interesting to me? And how can I add value to the people that are receiving the information I send?
So I want to unpack a nugget that you said, marketing before sales. So this ties right into an episode I did a few weeks back with my good friend Tommy Choi, who talked about you have to make deposits before you can make withdrawals. And you are connecting those dots. So huge nugget, marketing and communicating a message of value is putting deposits in people's lives. So you have permission to call and ask for a withdrawal. That is gold. That's brilliant. Everyone write that down. Marketing before sales.
So we're in the business of marketing, and then we sell things.
That's even an aha for me. And this is perfect timing, because this is going to drop right before we kind of go into 2021 and everyone's doing their business plans and preparing for 2021. And you are 100% correct. The marketing and the messaging has to come before you can ask for the business and do the sales. I love that. So, okay, so let's talk about the messaging. We both work relationally. We both don't send out a bunch of just listed and just sold postcards. Those are important. It is important that your database and your list of relationships know where you sell and what you do. But I have a philosophy that the only person that cares about the real estate you're selling are the people that are buying or selling it at that time, or that live in that neighborhood, right? And the way we work relationally, we cover huge geographic areas. You're in the Salt Lake City area and you cover a huge geographic area. So what do you do when you're thinking about providing the value and you're thinking about the messaging? What process do you go through to come up with the messaging that you put out to your community?
So we have brand pillars for all of our, for everything that we send out. So our newsletters, our postcards that we send out, the social media that we do. So our brand pillars are typically like, we have a community piece. So we might, post something about a hike that a family could go on, or something community. We like to have something lifestyle. We also have experts. So we will have a piece of that will talk about what's going on in the real estate market. So we might do a market update as far as that goes, and just knowledge. So we kind of use our brand pillars to create our content. And again, I have a marketing coordinator, so we sit down quarterly and then we sit down monthly, but we'll typically determine, what's happening over the next 90 days. So, so we'll look into the community to see what we can, it's October right now. So, what are some fun things people can do for Halloween, and where can you get candy for your kids? Cause we're in COVID.
Yes.
And people aren't eating,
Yeah.
So we'll put out resources like that. And again, it always goes back to who are we speaking to? And so we like to have the different brand pillars because, you might have someone who doesn't have children. And so they might be younger people. So they might be more interested in technology versus, where you can take your kids trick-or-treating.
Yep.
So we try to appeal to different demographics, and we really know who our clients are. I'm in Utah, so we have a lot of families, so I'm going to market to that probably more than I'm going to market to, where you can go wine tasting per se, because also we don't have wineries here. So unfortunately, so we really follow the brand pillars, and we use the brand pillars in all the marketing that we send out.
I love the idea of the brand pillars. I think the brand pillars is huge because I think realtors get too focused on the real estate. Yes. And again, you have to understand, and I know that you and I understand this deeply, and I want to make sure our listeners hear it as well. When you're working relationally, you're looking for repeat and referral business, period. Yes. And so you have to understand that most of the people you're talking to through your marketing may have already bought or sold a home with you and aren't planning on moving anytime soon. So right. How are you going to communicate value to them that isn't about necessarily all real estate? Yeah. Because they're not selling a home anytime soon, but you want to put value in their mind so that they share it with the people that are selling the real estate. So how do you connect those dots when you're talking to kind of two different demographics? You're talking to people that have already bought and sold with you. And then, as I say, you're talking to future clients. How do you bridge that gap?
I mean, I think you bridge it because, well, the way that we bridge the gap is always having there's always got to be a market piece in there. So for people who are looking, so we'll, if you're a home buyer, you're a home seller, we might have something, right now it's a seller's market. So we might talk about how to win multiple offers for the buyers that might be reading our newsletters. Mm-hmm. I think for people who have bought and sold with us, it's just continuing to be a resource for them. I'm really big into business to business relationships. And so I love to endorse our small businesses, especially this past year. It's been a huge piece that we've taken on just with COVID happening, just really supporting the businesses so that, we direct our clients to them. So I think it's just always providing value. You've always got to be providing, you've got to have a reason for them to open your newsletter. If they know it's just going to be a graph and that's what you send out every single month. Yeah. It's just, there's nothing that's going to draw them into it. Why would they open it? They're just going to delete it. And I really think you've got to just cut through, you've got to cut through the noise because there's so much information that is flowing every day. I mean, people get so many emails. If you don't have something in there where they say, oh, I bet Heather, you know, she's going to make some great recommendation this month, so I'm going to open up her newsletter. Why open it?
Love that. So let's talk about the three main pillars of the marketing system, not necessarily the brand message, but the three main ways I know that you communicate and market. One is through postcards. One is through email marketing and newsletters. And I would say the third is social media. And we've kind of hit a little bit on all three. So let's really compartmentalize them to make it easier for everyone to really focus and understand. So let's start with the email newsletters. You just mentioned it. Now, in your email newsletters, I know that you kind of have two demographics you're talking to as well. You send an email newsletter out to your realtor colleagues to get repeat and referral business from all over the United States, which again, friends here at Real Estate by Relationship, I'm interviewing all of my friends that I've built relationships with where I know if Heather has someone coming to Southern California, she's calling Barb. And if Barb has someone going to Salt Lake City, I've got Heather. So if you're listening to this and not realizing that you have two databases, you have a contact list of relationships that you know locally, and you have a contact list of realtors that you can network with across the United States. But let's get to email newsletters specifically for your clients. In that client newsletter, you already said you're providing obviously, you know, value and connection to the area, community events. What else goes in that newsletter? Like top to bottom, I'm sure you have a template. What is each section and what's kind of the standard and there every month?
So we have a section called Knowledge Broker, and that's where we're going to do like our market update. We have a section called Community. So we'll feature something in the community. We have a lifestyle section and we have a technology section. So those are our 4 brand pillars that we have. And so, you know, we just come up with different relevant content each month. We usually do it quarterly. So we sit down and have a brainstorming meeting for a couple hours. And we talk about what's the message that we want to send. You know, right now we're going into the holidays. And so our message is going to shift to, you know, families and different things they can do in the area. And also, you know, why you should sell your house during the holiday season, you know, so different. And in Salt Lake City, you know, we get a lot of snow. So it's a myth that people don't sell their houses. So we'll have information about that. So those are some examples that we'll put into our newsletters. But I do want to touch on what you just said about how important it is to develop relationships with other realtors, because from the day I got my real estate license, I immediately started attending conferences, and I'm sort of a conference junkie, but it's
Me too, girl. Me too.
It has been the biggest. I would have never in my life ever thought that this could turn into something so huge, because I'm very social. I love networking. I love meeting people. And so I have taken that, I've taken the business cards that I've received and just the relationships I've connected with. And I have a huge out-of-state agent database and even in-state. And I have a marketing plan. I market to them just like I market to my own clients every single month. And I think the key here is with all the marketing that we do and the newsletters that we do, it's just the consistency of them, and making sure they're going out no matter what every single month. And we actually send out an out-of-state, so kind of a business-to-business newsletter. We send out we call it a general newsletter. So that's with our 4 pillars. And then we'll do a 1 subject newsletter. So that might be just a video where I'm doing a market update. This is what's happening right now. Or, I mean, it could be a video on it's fall. Let's talk about how to winterize your home and get it ready for, you know. So they're hearing from us twice a month.
Okay, so twice a month. So let's talk. So in your marketing newsletter to your contact list locally, you've got the 4 pillars. Then you're talking about these 1 subject newsletters. Love this idea. And this is where you're doing a video, because I did want to get into video. So in your normal, we call it template newsletter, where you're putting in your 4 pillars, no videos in that newsletter.
Not usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're doing those single subject newsletter for a market update, more of the real estate content. Love that idea.
And it's also, so the kind of philosophy around it is you're going to have people that will read, that like to read things. And then you're going to have people that don't want to read anything and they'll watch your video. So again, we've got to look at people in general and how we all work. And, you know, if you think of social media, some people want to scroll pictures and some people want to watch a story.
Yep.
So it's super important that you're sending out content that everyone is going to look at, listen
Different
to.
mediums, however they're going to connect. You're absolutely right. Like, I won't watch really long videos. Some people will. It's why I love stories. I will scan an article. I won't read everything. So I like bullet pointed articles where I can just catch the highlights. So you're absolutely correct. We have to connect with everyone at the level they want to be connected with. And you don't really know all of your clients and how they want to connect. So you just got to send it to your entire contact list and know that the person that doesn't open the email will likely, moving into our next subject, which I learned from you. So friends, I'm going to give full disclaimer. My postcard marketing system that I developed came from Heather. And it was because Heather was sending me postcards as a realtor connection. And I was like, wow, I love these. I can glance at it. I don't have to open it. I don't have to second guess. Do I really want to take the time to open this and read it? I can just glance at it. And if it's great information, I'll set it aside. If not, I toss it. No big deal. But I've looked at it and I know Heather's still in real estate and I know Heather's selling real estate in Utah and I see her pretty face and I connect all the dots. So what have you seen as results with this postcard marketing system that you do? And frequency, I assume you do it every month.
I do it every single month. In some months it's so hard. And I have to I've been doing postcard marketing for at least 8 years. And it's all different content. So every month. So one thing I'll say about the postcard marketing is it's very personalized. So I involve my agents, I involve my team members. Or it's just myself. So every single month we create a postcard. I have a photographer that will come and we'll usually do quarterly shoots or sometimes longer, like 6 months out. Because we will create the content a year in advance. And then if we need to change anything, we will. Like COVID changed our message a little bit.
I was going to say, did you have to change some postcards for 2020?
Change some postcards for 2020.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think that direct mail is it's underutilized.
Yes.
Agents don't want to spend the money and they don't want to do it. So they'll get on social media and they will send out newsletters. Direct mail is where it is at because it, like you said, it cuts through all the clutter. I mean, people get their mail, and I would say now more than ever before, people are working at home and they're taking breaks and going to the mailbox to get the mail. Yep. It's kind of probably an exciting thing for them to do to get out of the house, right? So with the postcard marketing, I mean, we try and have a lot of fun with them. Yeah. So they're witty and they're humorous, but my clients see my face every single month, my face 12 times a year, whether they want to or not, because like you said, they don't have to open it. And typically what I find is, we try and make them really funny. So I have clients that take pictures of them and send them. And even say little things like, I'm so excited to see what you come up with every single month. It's really funny. Yeah. So we have a lot of fun with them.
You do. And I've borrowed ideas from you. I always quote my friend Lee Brown. She says, R&D, rip off and duplicate, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Likely, Heather and I joke with each other and we joke with other realtors. Likely we stole it from someone else. Or we borrowed it from someone else. Because here's the deal. If you get an idea that's inspiring to you, you're going to make it your own, because we live in different markets. I get some postcards from you that will make no sense for me to send out in Southern California, like winterizing your house, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But what I want to talk about in the postcard arena is when I decided to change to postcards was I did I like to call it, I do it every couple of years. I bring together my best clients, the ones I know will be honest with me. I buy them dinner. I give them a few adult beverages, and I go around the room and I ask them questions like, what parties and events do you like to come to? What do you think about our marketing messaging? I ask some tough questions and I require them to be honest with me. And I will never forget one of the years, one of my best friends was maid of honor in my wedding. I asked her about the marketing I was sending, which at that time was a newsletter printed with some graphics and images, folded up in threes, put in an envelope with a label and a stamp. And she said to me, she raised her hand and she said, I have to confess something. And I said, what? And she goes, I don't open your mail. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? You don't open my mail? She's like, no. And at that time, the information I was putting in there was not the best.
Yeah.
And it wasn't interesting. She goes, I just don't find any value in it. And my
Yeah.
heart stopped. And I thought, oh my gosh. And what I realized is people were not opening my mail. And when I started the postcards that you encouraged me to do, you are absolutely correct. I now get every month at least a few. It's not crazy. Don't be thinking we get 50 people sending us pictures of our postcards, but I get a few, and they're usually different people that will take a picture of the postcard and say something to me. And this month, we're recording this in October for transparency. I did a picture of two little kids in bed holding up a blankie, and they were watching a scary movie. And I said, don't be scared of this real estate market, because so many people are scared of what's going on right now in 2020. They don't understand the insanity, right? And you and I know we can walk them through that. I got multiple photos of, this is adorable. This is a great way to communicate this. Wow, good job. I never got that when I was folding up a piece of paper in an envelope and putting a label on it. Do you agree? You used to do it that way too.
I used to do it that way too. And I will say, a lot of the content that we as realtors get, other realtors also get.
Yes.
And so if you happen to have a client who might be in a couple people's database, that can be really bad when you're sending out the same things. So, and that goes for newsletters as well. I'm on a lot of agents. I'm in their database, and I get their newsletters, and they're exactly the same. So I think to really stand out in this industry, you have to be unique. 100%. And it takes a little bit of effort, but if you have a system around it, it's not hard. That's all you have to do is have a calendar and a system around it, and you have to spend some time creating the content, but really being unique. And it's great for listing appointments and whatnot too. I mean, sellers will see that you do things differently than everyone else. So
that is great advice. And I echo what you say in the realtors sending the same stuff to different people without knowing it. Then that person knows you essentially bought your marketing, which isn't helpful to your business. I can tell you that. And I would also put lenders in that category. I've got a lot of lenders that are listening to this. And thank you for reminding me that this month, a week ago, I got 4 on the same day, 4 different lenders, 4 different companies, the exact same newsletter. And what did that make me do? Delete, delete, delete. Actually, it made me giggle a little, and it made me want to go, oh, wow, guys, that isn't communicating any kind of value to me. Conversely, versus another lender, I received a single subject, I'll call it video, with an update of what rates are going to do post-election, what they project for the next 60 days, which was super valuable to me as a realtor who's got to communicate that to my clients. That was relevant. That was timely. It was personable. And it made me want to connect with this lender versus the other 4 templated emails that said the exact same thing.
Well, you want to unsubscribe, but you don't want to be rude, right? So like, I do the delete, and there are at least that many deletes, right? Like,
I think realtors, we have to be careful and understand that there's lots of outlets you can do. I'll give a couple recommendations. If you cannot have a full marketing coordinator like Heather and I do, which I understand. There's virtual assistants are fantastic. There's sites like Fiverr, and I forget the other one, Upworks, I think it's called. There's also my good friend Chelsea Pites uses this. I don't know if you've heard of this before, Heather, but it's called Design Pickle.
Oh, I haven't.
It's expensive. I want to say it's $3.99 a month, but they'll design everything and anything for you. You have a full-time graphic designer like in your back pocket. $3.99 a month to get custom marketing.
That's actually a really good price, because I have a graphic designer and I pay her hourly. Then I have my full-time marketing coordinator and I pay her a salary. So $3.99 is a great price.
Pretty sure it was $3.99. Look into it. I think there's different levels by maybe the amount of pieces you can have. But if you're just looking for somebody to create a marketing postcard and an email newsletter that's custom to you, the thing is, what you cannot, in my opinion, abdicate out is the content. You have to come up with the content, but it doesn't mean you can't send some bullet points and have someone design something that looks, graphically pleasing. And then of course you proof it before it goes out. It really does work.
Well, and I would say to that, when I very first started, I had just my transaction coordinator. So she was just my assistant and she was creating them. You can use MailChimp, it's free.
Yep.
You can have a free MailChimp account. It's a
Canva.
template. Yeah, Canva to design your content or to do your artwork and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do on your own. It's just doing it.
Yeah.
And that's where people fail. They say, oh, it's too hard. Oh, I've got to hire someone and I can't afford it, or I'm too scared to do it, which is another excuse, right? But one thing I want to share with everyone, when I hired my first marketing coordinator, it's been, I probably 8 years ago, maybe 10, the years just fly by, but it's been a long time. And I was terrified to hire her and I didn't want to do it. And I had a business coach who forced me to do it. And he said, you've got to do this. So I hired this gal. And when we started doing everything like extremely consistently, so our social media was going out multiple times a week, our video, everything was, I mean, we had the calendar and we did not skip a beat. The client parties were happening. People thought it was insane what people think. And I doubled my business with my first marketing coordinator. The first year I hired her, she paid for herself.
Yes.
So putting a little bit of money into it, again, we're not salespeople first. We're marketers that sell homes. That's what we do. We are marketers.
Golden. It's golden.
I'm a marketer.
Okay, let's wrap up with social media. Now, social media, there's all kinds of pillars we can get into, and everyone listening to Real Estate by Relationship knows Barb's all about social media, because specifically it has been the number one way that I can communicate to a scale, to communicate to a much larger audience, to communicate to friends of friends, that people want to get referred to us and want to check us out. It's a great way for them to come see what you're about. And the most important thing about social media is you can't be on it if you're not consistent. If you don't update your social media and have something there consistently, and if I go to your Facebook business page or your Instagram and the last post was from 2019, I'm going to think you're not in real estate anymore. I'm going to think you're not relevant. So what is your guys' marketing plan around social media? Tell us the platforms, consistency, or I know none of us are perfect, so what you strive to do.
Well, so my marketing coordinator, she uses, I think, later.com. So she does schedule the post. And again, we sit down, we do our quarterly meeting. We don't necessarily plan out like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, these will be the posts, but we sort of have a, we're going to do a quote one day, we're going to do, and she'll every day, the stories are the hardest because she's putting them together. It's not me doing the stories. But we have a marketing calendar, and that's the key, is saying, okay, I'm gonna send out content these days a week. I mean, you can get so, oh my gosh, there's so many opinions on like what days to post, what times to post. It doesn't really matter. You just have to post.
Yes.
And I would say, and you know this hands down, the posts that work the best are the posts where your face is in the post. And you're highlighting even funny things you see in a home, or, I follow you, Barbara, and I love your posts about getting to know who you are. Yeah. You like coffee, you like wine, so that's what people want to see. Mixed in with, a house here and a house there. But I do not just open house, or new listing, new listing. People don't want to see that. They're going to unfollow you if you do that. And I think between Instagram and Facebook, we try to put different content out on each page, because again, you got to look at who's primarily on Instagram. Younger people usually, older people are usually on Facebook. So you need to appeal to both audiences, and you need to post different days. So that's kind of how we post. That's kind of what our strategy is. And just again, I can't stress this enough with any of this. If you do not have a calendar and a system, you will fail. Because we, as real estate agents, if you're doing any business at all, we're busy, we're fighting fires, we're dealing with issues, and it's so easy to get to the end of the day and the end of the week and say, oh, I forgot to do this. But the worst thing you can do, and I see a lot of agents do it, especially with like newsletters and stuff, I'll get one, and then I won't see anything for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll see like 4 that will come out each week, and then
Yes.
I won't hear from them again for 6 months.
Yes.
And I mean, it's ridiculous. So for me, I'm looking at that as being totally inconsistent. Like, and people, it's too easy to forget about you if you are not staying in front of people. You have to stay in front of your audience.
Absolutely. And social media, you said it, is the best way to do that. If you're consistent, yes, the messaging needs to be specific to different platforms and different audiences, right? Like you can't just be talking about first-time home buyer tips all the time. What about move-up buyers? What about people that are downsizing? What about people that are relocating? What about condos and townhomes versus single family? I've never seen a better platform for us as real estate agents to be able to communicate all the different things that we do, all the different areas we serve, community-based. Again, your pillars of content should be different for social media than they conversely are for a newsletter or a marketing postcard. And you are 100% correct. All of this takes planning. All of this takes planning. It takes being consistent. But at the end of the day, you, again, as Heather said, are a marketer first, which I love. And then what I would challenge everyone is make sure your marketing plan and your business plan are on your calendar.
Yes.
Right? They
That's
have
key.
just as important as it is to calendar in our lead generation activities. The marketing and planning and taking half a day out of your business to work on your business is one of the best things, conversely, that you can do once a quarter, once a month. I do mine once a month, and every month we're talking about 1 month forward. So in our October meeting, we're wrapping up October and we're talking about November, December, January. In November, we're talking about December, January, February. So we're still talking about what's next because things change, right? But then we're always adding 1 month on. Because if you wait till February to plan February's content, it's too late. Conversely, if you wait till January, February needs to be planned in November and December. But most of us don't think like that.
Well, the other thing is marketing is lead generation. Mm-hmm. So that is like, even I put that before actually calling your clients. If you don't have that piece in, people will forget who you are. Again, you don't want to be the agent where they're like, oh, my agent, she was this nice girl. I can't remember her name. I mean, if I ever knew someone said that, I would die.
You are hitting a button with me because you're so right. I talk about know, like, and trust. Like that's what we talk about here is people have to know you, like you, and trust you. The know and like can be the phone calls and text messages. They know you, they like you, they see, but the trust is going to come through the marketing. Yeah. There's no other way, unless they've done a transaction with you. If they've done a transaction with you and they have biographical experience with you, then hopefully they trust you because you did a great job. But that friend of a friend that you met at the barbecue has never had an experience with you. They need to get to know you through lead generation, through marketing, which creates trust.
Yeah, they have to remember you. They have to remember you.
They have to remember your name.
People forget very, very easily. And I would say for agents who have teams, it's even more important that you put that first and foremost before anything else, because, you know, a great client might come to me and I might have one of my buyer's agents or my listing agents work with that client. But again, like I need to be teaching them that I am the company, me. Yes. And when they have another referral, it needs to come back to me. They've got to remember me. Yeah. So part of doing your marketing is lead generation. So if you are not doing that, again, you're not going to be relevant. It's just, there's too many agents coming into the business right now. So you really have to stand out and got to make an impact on people. People have to remember you. We think that we're all amazing and that they will. Right. But I can't say how many times I talk to people and I'm like, wait, who did you work with before? Because I always think, why are you not going back to them? Exactly. They're like, I can't remember their name. It's not even that. I'm like, did you have a good experience? Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. But they haven't kept in touch. They might see you, on social media here and there, but if they don't remember you.
Well, my favorite is they keep in touch. They send me a holiday card each year. Yeah. Okay, great. And yes, you should send a holiday card, but that can't be all you do. No. It cannot be all you do. Right. And friends, the recipe card days are over.
They're way over. If you want to do a recipe, then do a really fun Zoom event where you teach someone how to cook something. Exactly. But again, it's that face-to-face. You've got to stay face-to-face. I mean, aside from COVID, we do about 5 client parties a year too. Yeah. So I'm right. And even with COVID, I mean, we've still done 4.
You've been able to do some stuff.
We've just changed. We do a lot of drive-throughs,
Yes.
So we've changed how we do them, but it's still, you have to shift with the times, whatever those look like. But again, it's staying in front of people. And it's really, I mean, you hear this all the time, value, 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 but really, really like what's going on in the world? How can we really provide value? I met with a client for lunch the other day, and we were talking about when COVID first happened, and we did an Easter egg drive-through, and I was really upset because that was the first party that COVID affected. And I was like, what can we do? What can we do? And of course, everyone's like, we can't do anything. And then I said, no, we can do a drive-through. And I thought it up like 10 days before Easter, and I threw it together, and we just sent it out to everybody. And I'm like, maybe no one will even come. Yeah. And that's probably the most amazing party I've ever done. And he said to me, that meant a lot to me, because you always do these parties, but then you found a way to do it, even though we were told we couldn't leave the house. Yeah. And it's making the difference with people. Yep. And that's what it's all about. Especially right now, we need relationships more than anything.
Amen, sister.
That connection more than anything.
And I would just challenge everyone listening. You've got to think about your marketing plan differently in 2021. You've got to start now. Anything you generate now in the fourth quarter of 2020, we all know as real estate agents is likely going to be a commission check in 2021. But your marketing plan has to include relationships. It has to include value. It cannot be just about listings. That's not a marketing plan. Just listed and just sold, friends, is marketing a property, which we do have to do. It's part of our listing agreements. We do need to do a good job and effort getting a property sold. Yes. But please do not confuse just listed marketing as marketing you or your value in your service. That's marketing a property to get it sold, which arguably is what we do, but you're not going to lead generate at an extremely high level for repeat and referral business by marketing a bunch of property. So this has been an absolute wealth of information. I know that I'm going to go back and listen and take some notes and make my marketing team listen to this. But as we wrap up, a couple of fun rapid fire questions. So what are you reading right now or have read that everyone needs to know about? Everyone looks on their desk to their stack of books.
No, I'm like, what's on my bed?
or listening to.
Well, so I'm actually reading a book called The Gift. And it's by a Holocaust survivor. And I kind of have a little obsession with, my favorite book in the world is Man's Search for Meaning.
Yes.
Frankl. And I've read that probably 5 times. And I'm reading, Maria Forleo is a marketing guru, and she's one of my favorite people in the world. And she interviewed this Holocaust survivor. I think her name's Edith Edgar, if I remember right. But it was, I happened to I was having one of those mornings when I got up, and Maria's always in your inbox at like 2 a.m. or something. So I just clicked on her interview and I listened to this interview, and it was such a perfect message for what we're going through right now. Just remembering that, I mean, when you read stories of a Holocaust survivor, you realize that life is really, really good. We have a really, really good life. So, so that's the book that I'm reading right now. That's what I'm reading.
Where's the first place you're going to travel out of the country when you can again? And not your annual New Year's trip to Mexico, because I know you're going to Mexico, because I know that.
Yes, I am going to Mexico.
I know you are. And not Arizona, but where else are you going? Where else do you want to go when the world opens up?
Well, I'm going to make Maria take me back to Italy so we can go drink wine in Tuscany.
Oh, I might have to go in your luggage. Right? Amazing.
You can just pack a bag with us.
Right? And what's the number one thing that you miss that you could do in October of 2019 that you can't do right now?
Oh,
you live in Utah. You guys are a little bit more open than us in California, but what's one thing you miss most?
In October? Well, probably I have grandkids. And so just being able to go and take my little granddaughter trick-or-treating. I do that every single year.
Good one.
So, and even just going to her school when they do their little Halloween party. that's what I miss the most. So
oh, and most people watching this that can see your beautiful face are probably thinking, she has grandchildren. Yes, she does. And they're adorable. So again, Heather, thank you so much for being here today. I know that you have provided a ton of value to everyone listening. To all of our listeners out there, please, if you enjoyed today's episode, leave us a 5-star review, hit the subscribe button. If you want to connect with Heather, which you should, all of her information and ways to connect with you with her will be in the show notes. And until next time, we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.